all the musician I can meet are for me fantastic, if he's famous or if he's not. I'm a big fan, a very huge fan of young people taking the guitar and start to making music. Because this is the way for have the instruments music survive, you know.
Bruno Bacci is a luthier from Tuscany in Italy, between Florence and Lucca, a region known for its artistic heritage with notable figures like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, but to name two. Even the Bacci Tuscan farmhouse where Bruno lives is a portion of a property that was once home to Giacomo Puccini, the renowned 19th century composer famous for his works such as La Bohème and Madame Butterfly. Bruno Bacci is best known for his creation of his Leonardo Funk Machine dual-output baritone guitar, which has inspired many of today's most beloved guitarists, from Cory Wong and Mark Lettieri of the Fearless Flyers and Snarky Puppy fame, to guitar virtuoso Matteo Mancuso. Bacci basses have also inspired players like Michael League and Dave Murata. Before becoming a luthier, Bruno honed his skills in a variety of fields in Italy and abroad, from metallurgy and marketing to carpentry and graphic design. Operating with an esoteric approach, Bacci believes the wood comes with a soul, which he must be able to capture, understand, and interpret. I always enjoy visiting with Bruno and talking with him. I hope that you enjoy our conversation too. First of all, thank you for hosting us here in Tuscany. It's been a fantastic few days, and we've really appreciated your hospitality and your community, the people around you. You've made us feel at home, and so thank you.
Yeah, this is the first question, and the first phrase I said to you when I came to collect in your airport. I said, "Listen, you're coming in my house, and you must be one of my part of family," and you did it, and it was a big honor of you because we spent a lot of days smiling, drinking, and enjoying, and talk about guitars and everything. And unfortunately, the time was going too fast for me.
Oh, yeah?
With you, it's like to go in a concert and enjoy the concert, and when they say, "Oh, this is the last song we can do," why? Why I'm arrived just 5 minutes ago and it's past 1.5 hours or something like that.
Well, we'll have to do the same thing. We'll have to do an encore.
Yeah, of course.
All right. 2 encores.
2 encores.
That's nice.
Yep.
That's nice.
Very, very, very cold. It's nice.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I travel a fair amount, more than most, and I meet a lot of people in their places, their cities, their cultures. But I got to say, I don't know many of them that talk about their culture as much as you do. You are a proud Tuscan.
Yeah.
And you want me to experience all of the Tuscan foods and see the places and meet the people. And it's really difficult to separate you from your culture. And that sounds ridiculous because I guess you can't separate anyone else from their culture, but they're usually not so, I don't know, interconnected or proud about it or so conscious of it as you are. Do you think that's a good thing?
I think it's a good thing, you know. Since when I started to make guitars, I call it Bacci. The first guitar I have made was born in Tuscany. And now we came Bacci guitars made in Tuscany, not in Italy, not in Europe, in Tuscany, because be a Tuscan person, it's like to be a part of the best part of the world. And I hope you feel the the soul of the nature, the soul of the music, the soul of the culture. Culture means knows how to make a food, how to write book, to making guitar, to everything. The culture is one of my favorite things in the life. Because I'm a very curious person. And when we started to talk about something, I don't need to talk about music or guitars. Anything would be good for me when the people are going deep in the things they talking about. And I love when we're going deep and deep and deep, because I love to go more deep I can. And when the people we're talking about something, we know each other's. And the other knows more than me, I'm going to be happy because it's a present from me. And that is an unbelievable thing for me.
So do you think curiosity is common amongst your people? Are you normally curious, or are you more curious, maybe less curious than? Does it define your cultures?
Can I define myself? I don't think to the other people if I'm more curious than me. I'm just looking myself, how much curious I am, and how much I can become happy. Because
that's a very incurious answer.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. This is the curiosity I have is for something for me, for myself, and not for the other people. Because I'll give you an example. Sometimes we have a dinner with lots of different people. And if somebody is talking and say something which is not them passion or favorite things to learn or to listen, they can get the phone, they can go to the bathroom, and on 10 people on the table, you can find only 1 or 2 persons follow the things we are talking about. And for this reason, I want to save all the information, all the things I can get by myself. I don't care about the other people. When the person in front of me takes my attention, as I'm alone. 100 people and talking with you, 100 people around us, I'm alone with you. I'm not with the others. Because I cannot waste the time. And I love to spend the best time I can. Because my life, since when I started to making guitars, is going too much fast. And the time is going too much fast. And the more passion I have, more fast is going. And that makes me in trouble because I can't waste the time. That is the thing.
You know, I have a couple of things to say there. That's one, we should talk a little bit about when you came to guitar making and why you came to guitar making. But the other part, I want to stay on this curiosity bit first, because I can sound like a real jerk talking about this, and I don't want to. But the reality is, when you live an extraordinary life, a not normal life, people want to know about it a lot. This is a problem for someone who is curious, because actually I want to know who else is in the room. I want to learn from them. And I remember a friend of mine who has an extraordinary life, and he's also very interested in other people and learning about them. And he said that he tries to be more interested than interesting, so that he's trying to get to know other people. So, because he wants to learn about them. But if he starts to talk about his life first, it's a bit of a game, then the people who maybe haven't done
as many or interesting things
Yeah.
as he's done, they become quiet. They don't want to talk about their life anymore. So it's this game, and I've found myself sometimes in scenarios where you're at a party with people who maybe live a more normal life, and it's this. I find myself unreasonably elusive where I'm trying not to answer, well, what do you do? I don't say, what do I do? You know, is there something else we can talk about? You know, what's your passion? What do you like to do when you're not working? I ask questions like this to avoid getting asked the question, because inevitably it's not a conversation if one person in the room is way more interesting than the others. And so, you know what I'm talking about? Does that seem crazy to you? Or
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I love this question, because when we are with, people together, normally I'm very quiet, and I'm trying to listen. The person I had to follow, you know, to look. And I'm a very simple person, to be honest. And every single thing, if it's a small thing or a big cultural thing, I don't care, you know. It's making me interesting, again, if it's going deep to this thing. And I agree with you when somebody start to say, to talk about his life, and it's an exciting life. Yes, I agree. The others think about how is my life, and then I become quiet. I was in London a few weeks ago to see Bonamassa play a concert, and we had a dinner together with Matteo Mancuso and some other people. And one of the guests, he doesn't know me, is asking me my history. Before I said my history, everybody was talking. After my history, it was only a question of my life. And I said, after 20 minutes, I said, why we have to talk about me now? And the manager of Matteo Mancuso said, because we are interested of your life, because you made a lot of wars against the others for do what you like to do. And that is a life example for the people trying to do what they want to do, but they doesn't have the possibility, or they doesn't want it.
courage.
The courage, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So what kind of wars have you made that Matteo's manager would know about? How public were these wars? Did you blow up a building, or did you do something more subtle than that? Did you actually blow up a building? Did I say the wrong thing? Did you make a bomb, Bruno?
Let me drink, and I will try to find the answer on the alcohol. No, say, please go ahead about it.
But I think you used the word wars somewhat casually. So what you mean is that there's some conflict there. Yeah. So what do you mean when you say you make a war, or when Matteo Mancuso's manager, I don't know their name.
No.
When they say you make a war, what does this mean?
For me, make a war. I mean, talking about war in this time of the year is not good, because there are lots of, unfortunately, war all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
But when I wake up in that night and I said to my ex-wife, I want to make a guitar, I never think before. And after that night, everything was in front of me and stopping me, become an enemy for me. And then I destroyed my family, because my passion was too high. And my ex-wife was asking me, do you love more your job or me? And this is a very wrong question to ask, of course. But is I got the separation and divorce of my ex-wife because it was something in front of me cannot cannot go ahead. You know, you have to turn right and left, but my way was straight, not to run or left. And that is the war I made with my brother, with my family, when they asked me, do you want to produce guitar? You want to make guitars? You have to find a real job to do it. And should be a passion for you. I said, well, that was a very nice time for me because they helped me to make a war against mostly to myself, because the biggest war I have made is with myself, to try to convince myself and to say let's go ahead, because I have a big passion making instruments. I have an obsession to make an instrument. But have a passion, it's like to drive a Ferrari, the F1 Ferrari, where you doesn't know how much speed is on the snow. You can go fast, but what about the control? Because the passion can kill yourself if you don't know the way where you're going to go. The passion will kill yourself if you go in too much rush. And I made a few mistakes and I've fallen down. When I started to do only guitars, because I was making another job at guitars, I decided to do only guitars in my life. And I become quite poor, just to get the money for pay the expenses. And I was looking at my children and buy the food for them. It was easy. But what else? Tools for making guitars? Not possible. And that are some of the words I made. But again, the word against me, not the other people. Mm-hmm. So I can see myself the winner of the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we are here talking about something, I'm a winner of my words against me.
Mm-hmm. You're happy with who you are today?
Sorry?
You're happy with the Bruno of today?
Of course.
Yeah.
Not today, since a few months ago, a couple of years ago.
If the war is against yourself, this means that you're both the champion and the loser.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only if you are a loser, you can understand how much important is win. Mm-hmm. If you always win, you don't know how much good is be a loser.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by good being a loser?
Because when you're falling down, you can have a lot of different views in front of you.
Yeah.
And you feel the life differently.
Yeah.
And you are not a person anymore rude with some people, anymore, TV fan. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Or lots of different things. No, I don't want to talk about the things when you are poor you can see.
Yeah.
But it's changing a lot in my experience. I was before making guitars, I was a graphic designer, a very successful graphic designer. I worked for a big name of fashion. I work with some of the biggest company all around the world, Mm-hmm. And I haven't feel the same thing when I become poor, or become a guitar maker. And there was a life where, yes, fantastic life, but you know the real life of what is? I'm talking about me. I don't want to talk about, don't want to talk about everything. I talk about me, you know. And I can say all of my life has make me a guitar maker. Without my life, I cannot be a guitar maker. I don't know if this makes sense.
No, it absolutely makes sense. As a matter of fact, I've been recently traveling, meeting with guitar makers and asking them to tell their story, their biography. And the way I define it is, tell me about the moments that if you remove this moment, you're no longer the person you are today.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, we all have these moments that are the life-building, life-changing moments. You know, I think it was Nelson Mandela that famously said, you know, I never lose. I either win or I learn. You know, and that learning part of it is the value of the losing, I think, that you're talking about. And it's a common theme for people who have done extraordinary things, who have done something that is not the normal. You know, I know another guitar maker, Jens Ritter in Germany, who carries a fortune cookie wrapped in plastic, not the cookie, the paper from the cookie.
Okay.
And it says, fall down 7, stand up 8.
Yeah, nice.
You know?
Nice.
And that's it. And I can remember, you know, a moment with someone who was really struggling with a health issue, and it was stopping their life, but we couldn't find out what the health issue was. We couldn't find an answer. The doctors weren't finding an answer, and they were on the floor, defeated. And I stood them up, and I said, if you cannot identify this problem, you're going to have to learn to live with the problem.
Yeah.
Now stand up, and we're going to learn how to do this with the problem.
I totally agree about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the fact. Yes.
Yeah. And that's the reality, is that, you know, there are many people I know who have ambitions to do things, and they're just not able to start. They're not able to take those steps.
Yes.
I call this washing their hands to take a shower.
Yes.
You know, they're always getting ready for the shower.
Yes.
Clean my hand, gonna wipe my hand.
Nice.
You're going to do that in the shower. Just get in the shower.
Very nice sample.
Getting ready to get ready. And yeah, to actually do something, you have to be willing to take that first step. And you have to be willing to fall down 7 in order to stand up 8.
How many times I followed? Maybe 7 is not enough.
No, I can't count that.
Maybe myself. Maybe more. He was very good at falling 7 times, you know.
That's the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
Not the end.
Cedar Creek Custom Case Shop is your premier fretted instrument custom case maker, and we invite you to create a musical instrument case unlike any other, one that's unique to you. Every Cedar Creek custom case is hand-built by highly skilled craftspeople using only select woods, Prominence Forge hardware, and premium instrument-friendly materials. At Cedar Creek Custom Case Shop, we are dedicated to helping you design the case of your dreams. Find out more at cedarcreekcases.com.
I give you some sample of my experience. When I start to make my first guitar, one sample is I have to paint the body. When I was very young, my parents was dropping me in the mountain in my uncle house, and he had a car body repair shop. I don't know what is the name in English.
Same. Auto body repair.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he teach me how to prepare the car before paint. And I remember that day, my uncle was saying, I had 11 years old. And my uncle said, "Is coming Celestino, the painter, to paint the 500, the Fiat 500, the old one. The lacquer is ready. The gun is ready. It's inside the oven for painting. Please tell him he have to spray in red. The color is at the side of the gun." He left with the car, and I get in the room. I took the red inside the gun, and I started to spray the car because I saw a lot of times making it. And because I wasn't too much tall, I took chairs and jump on the chairs for paint the roof of the car, without mask. I was coughing every time, I didn't know that, And at the end, I put the gun back, and I was unpainted, no red color on me. And I get out, and I went to play with the ball or something like that. It's arrived Celestino a few minutes later and said, "Bruno, where is the car I have to paint?" He's in the oven, and he got in. What you fucking paint the car before me? And I was quiet because, no one gave me the permission to do it. And when he's come, he called my uncle, and my uncle came out from their house and he said, "What's happened, Celestino? You asking me to come and paint the car, but the car is being painted." And my uncle was looking at me without saying nothing. And I was, look down without saying anything, of course.
Yeah.
And he paid Celestino for painted without paint, And then thank you for coming. I made a mistake. And at the dinner time, my uncle was looking at me and tried to say something. And only the words was coming out was, "Could you paint again, Bruno, the car?" And I started to smiling where never before. I say, "Yes, I can do." And after 25 years in front of the guitar, I sprayed the guitar without problems. And that was a part, the small part of my life. And there are lots of different things like this happening in my life.
Yeah.
When I tried to make my first guitar, I made it without finding any problem. Like, if you're asking me, it's easy to make a guitar? Of course, everybody can do it.
Yes.
But I know my life was planning to do it, maybe. Because I changed a lot of works in my life, and this is the only works I don't want to stop to make. And that making me, your life teaching you how to make instruments. Because when I start to making instruments, everybody was, my knowledge was already done, except setup, how was the wood sound, how to join together. And I went very fast. Because if you don't know the tool for cut the machine, you have to learn the saw machine before cutting your figures. If you don't know how to paint, you have to ask somebody, "Can you paint it?" And then, how is the way to make an instrument.
Yeah.
This is my life,
This is your life. That's great. That was really bold for you to grab the paint gun and the red paint and someone's car. Did you do things like that often? Was that? But that's a little crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Maybe,
it was.
what would you think if if you found out that your child, you have kids, if your son or your daughter at 11 years old just painted someone's car without permission?
I dreamed a lot of time to see my son doing that,
Yes.
but it's never happened. And the car was very good made. That was the surprise,
Yes.
because I seen a lot of spray people
Yeah.
saying bad words against the the lacquer dropping down, a very bad loud words, and I said, okay, the drops are bad when you're painting, and I heard a lot of bad words against the transparent lacquer. It's yellow, it's changing the color of blue, it's become green. What fucking lacquer you gave me?
Yes.
And I learned about you have to control the colors. And I wish to see one of my son doing something on my guitars. Also cracking, also, no make destroy guitars, but
Yeah. Well, that's great. So you and I have discussed a number of times about your particular scenario and the fact that I think that your arrival at guitars, in particular the baritone guitar, is a really, really right time. And there are people who do a good job in areas and who have some success, but the super successes in life, when we're talking about the Rockefellers, when we're talking about the Steve Jobs, there is a combination of willingness, disagreeableness, to do the work and to get over when people told them they can't do it. But there also typically is, like for a truly great super success, there's usually the right conditions also. So they're there at the right moment. For Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and Wozniak, they were not just into computers at the right age. They were at a particular school where the mothers raised money for computers when none of the other schools had the computers, and they lived very close to a university which had supercomputers and had a program where they would let the young kids come in at night. Most people didn't live close to the supercomputer. Most people didn't have the mothers who raised the money for the computers. And so it was a very specific set of circumstances which allowed these seeds to take root earlier than others. And with the baritone, I think that you're one of these people that, one, you've made a really inspiring musical instrument. So I don't mean to say that it's all circumstantial.
Yeah.
But you've made a really inspiring musical instrument at a time when guitar music has been going lower and lower, 7 strings, 8 strings. The progression from hard rock music in particular is getting lower and lower, but not just hard rock. It also moved into funk and into dance and techno as things became more technical and the musical instruments moved into the keyboard, which could go much lower than the guitars could, and the basses, and the speaker development. Our movies now sound huge because we now make the speakers and the quality of mixers and the headphones so that the engineers can mix it. Overall, we're at a time in history where we can create and reproduce a level of low frequency that didn't exist before. And this has seeded the ground, we would say, for someone like yourself to come in with a musical instrument in the right moments. And not only that, but beyond that, you had a very chance meeting. A very chance meeting with somebody who was not yet famous. Right? And so I think that the listeners would probably appreciate knowing that so you brought a baritone which you made because a customer wanted it, but when they played it, they said this is actually from what I recall, too efficient. You said too beautiful because they had only played it like a Dan Electro baritone that was more plunky, a little less efficient, right? And so you made it a little too clear for them and such. And so you still had it. And you went to Minneapolis and you were producing an album with an artist. I think Dan Mudd was his name.
Dan Mudd, yes.
And they called in a guitar player which was known in Minneapolis but not anywhere else yet. And that guitar player was Corey Wong, who now is a very famous guitar player, but only a few years ago, nobody knew who Corey Wong was. And so you had this incredible moment where that artist experienced an instrument that didn't yet exist, and your baritone has both a guitar electronics and a bit of a bass electronics. And if I recall correctly, the moment was, oh, we could make a band with a small, medium, and large guitar. I think of this as the violin, the cello, and the bass, right?
Yes.
And that was the birth of a now very famous band called the Fearless Flyers. Do I have that story correct?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay, how do you not just walk around with a stupid smile on your face all the time, just knowing, man, I'm a lucky guy for that moment?
I'm going to say I'm a very big lucky guy. And big is because I'm big, not because I'm a big lucky guy. You know? I never win a lottery or something like that. The ticket, the winner ticket of my lottery is my life.
Yes.
And the history of the Fearless Flyers is that, because when I was in Minneapolis, Corey Wong asked me to buy the Baritone. To be honest, in the city, he was already a very famous guitar player. And I said, well, I can sell to you, And he bought it. And I said, I gave him a very small amount price. And I said, Corey, could you make some videos for me? And of course I can make. And I remember the first time it came out, the Fearless Flyers videos I found on Facebook, and I played it, and I said, well, I was waiting a video, but not a video like that.
Yes.
Because in 2 hours it was more than 1 million views already. It was an incredible success. And and few weeks after the release, I received a call from Mark Lettieri. Mark say, hey Bruno, could you make a baritone for me? I say, well, I'm always a big fan of Snarky Puppy, and I knew Mark Lettieri as well, And the reason why Mark asking a baritone to me, when Corey speak with Wolfpack band, They create this band to arrange in the 3-level instruments like violin, cello, and double bass, right? The things you said before. And who was the best baritone player? Was Mark Lettieri. And they invite Mark to play with them, and he came in the studio with his super baritone. And they start to play, and Corey said, could you try this Bacci baritone I bought in Minneapolis a few months ago? And when he started to play that, he went crazy. He forgot the Supra one somewhere else, and he started to play the Bacci baritone. But this was the first Bacci baritone. And this is the reason why Mark asked me to do a baritone. And then I made a white baritone for him. And you can see a lot of historic videos of Fearless Flyers. The first videos was with a red baritone, and the new ones was with the white one. And I have 3 vinyl in my house of Fearless Flyers with the cover is the picture of the band with the baritone. the baritone in the end of Cory Wong one time and Mark Lettieri. And I'm very proud about that, you know. It was a very lucky day. A very, very lucky day.
And then a few years later, there's Matteo Mancuso, who is again one of the newer guitar heroes in our industry. We talk a lot about guitar heroes, and a lot of the old guys say, oh, we need a new guitar hero, we need a new guitar hero. And this is something that they hope and pray for, because they think that the success of their sales depends on people being inspired by these guitar heroes. And again, there's not many new guitar heroes.
Yeah.
But number 3, Bruno. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who would say, hey, Bruno, what the fuck? You know, share some a little bit. But Matteo is also actively playing with your baritone guitar.
Yes. I didn't know Matteo before. One of my friends said, hey, look, this guy. He's an Italian guy. And Steve Vai was talking about him. Al Di Meola was talking about him. And I checked it online, and it was a part of a Gale label, which I know as the manager. And I called him and can I meet Matteo in some places? And he said, come in Empoli, this is near Florence. There is a concert, we can try to put you in contact. And it was a heavy rain incoming. They did the concert in Florence, in the jazz club in Florence, which is a very small club. And I'm arrived there with my case, my T-shirt with Bacci, and I sit in the corner waiting them. And when they finished the sound check, I seen Matteo looking at me and coming to me and say, I know who you are, and I already know what is in the case. Wow, I said. Wow, how? And he said, because I'm a fan of Mark Lettieri, and I know you are a baritone maker. Can I have a look? And that is the beginning of me and Matteo.
Yeah.
But we didn't make any agreement in that time. And then he called me a few months later because he lost a flight, and he was waiting and sitting in the airport. And they say, let's have a look if I have a Bruno phone number. And he called it to me, and here we are, you know. And we've become a big friends because he loves steaks, he loves food, and I can make nice food for him. For everybody wants, of course.
Yeah.
In the future, I can make good food only for the people buying my instruments, but not now.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yes.
That's quite the restaurant.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Oh,
I'm joking.
I'll have the veal Florentine price. Oh. Leonardo Funk Machine.
Yes. Yes.
How good's the steak?
With the potato, the case,
Yeah.
the strap is some sauce. No, I'm joking, you know.
I don't know. I've had your veal Florentine. It's good. I might trade a guitar for it. This would be great. See if you can get on the Michelin list with prices that are only guitar trades. Show up with your guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much is this one worth? Ice cube. You get an ice cube. You get you get the steak.
Take this fork. Oh, so funny. Yeah.
You know, people ask me fairly often about the artist question and how much of a difference artists make, and should they try and engage with artists? You know, is this something that they can make happen? How does this? And I don't know, anybody I know who has had great success with an artist, it's involved every time a measure of luck. It is not being contrived like, oh, I'm going to go after this person and I'm going to get them and they're going to make me famous. I've never heard that story. Every time it's been something of a right moment, right time. The environment was right.
Yeah.
The musical movements at the time were right. They were ready to accept this thing. Do you think that you are just this incredible guitar player vacuum? They're attracted to you like the moon is locked into orbit with the earth, or you think it's a certain amount of luck?
I don't know, Jamie. I'm embarrassed to say something because
Cedar Creek Custom Case Shop is your premier fretted instrument custom case maker, and we invite you to create a musical instrument case unlike any other, one that's unique to you. Every Cedar Creek custom case is hand-built by highly skilled craftspeople using only select woods, Prominence Forge hardware, and premium instrument-friendly materials. At Cedar Creek Custom Case Shop, we are dedicated to helping you design the case of your dreams. Find out more at cedarcreekcases.com.
all the musician I can meet are for me fantastic. If he's famous or if he's not. I'm a big fan, a very huge fan of young people taking the guitar and start to making music. Because this is the way for have the instruments music survive, is help the young people to making music. How in the future Bacci will be not only a guitar company, it will be something else. Also something else. Continue to do guitars, of course, but we love music. And the history of the baritone, everyone trying the baritone, the first words was coming out is the most creative guitar I ever played in my life. And that is the moment I really, really love.
Yeah.
Because they can play new music and not play the old music.
Yeah.
And that is, oh my God, I did something for help the people for creating new music.
Yeah.
It-
I've experienced it. We've had your guitars on the Boutique Guitar Showcase tours, and I've had people tell me the same thing, more or less. They've said, I could write an entire album with this guitar, and they're expressing exactly that. There's creative potential within this guitar. That's really interesting. So I've been doing a study of physics lately and trying to understand physics in simplified terms. And one of the things that we talk about in physics is that we have energy, right? And there's potential energy.
Okay.
And a potential energy comes from a tensioned object, like a bow for the archer, right? Or a violin bow or a guitar. So you are creating tensioned objects which have potential energy. So it takes a person to move it and apply kinetic energy to get it to start moving in this way, right? But the idea that we could take that idea and apply it towards creativity, and that there's potential creativity sitting within a tensioned object, not just potential energy, but potential creativity, I think is a fascinating thought to explore. Because, when we move through a set of ideas, which all art, all music, when we can recognize it and call it a genre, we say this is rock, this is blues, this is country, this is funk. What we have is people exploring a set of ideas. But that thought, that we say the train of thought, eventually you say everything that there is to say about it. And then people have the feeling that there's no good new music happening anymore. All the best music was during this time,
yes.
which is generally the time where there were a lot of people exploring that thought, that genre of music. And then we wrap it up and we move on to the next new thought, you know? And so that's exactly why I'm so excited about your baritone, is because of its potential creativity, its potential to spark new ideas and new movements, because the baritone's been around as a guitar already for 70 years or more.
Oh, yes.
But it's not ever really got traction. It's never really taken root. And I think some of that is that we weren't technologically ready for it. We didn't have the right amplifiers. We didn't have the right mixing equipment and such to capture those sounds. And now someone like Mark Lettieri has written 2 entire albums of music that he's released called the Baritone Sessions. So presumably he's written more than that, because those songs made it on the album. So he's he's written a lot of baritone music now. And there's so much potential that's sitting in there.
Yeah. There is some experience I had in my career about the baritone. One is in Italy there is a very, very famous singer, which is when he released the concert in 2 hours, all the tickets are sold out, and we're talking about 30,000 people, 50,000 people. It's called Vasco Rossi. One of his guitarists, the studio guitarist, asking me a baritone. And when he got in the studio with the producer, he played the baritone to the producer. And the producer went crazy. So finally, we can have the right tension sound and the very accurate sound and very beautiful sound of the strings, which is not tuning down from the guitar.
Yes.
Every single studio in the world must to have a baritone inside for make the correct sound, which making the sound engineering to don't spend time to amend the mistakes of the sound on the computer. And that was one experience. I went in Milan a few weeks ago with my girlfriend to see a concert, a rock concert. The Dirty Honey Band. I met the bass player before the concert, and I went to see the concert. And the guitarist has a Gibson Les Paul and 2 Marshall amps. The things of my girlfriend's coming out was, they are like Led Zeppelin. Or they're like the Ambulance. Or they are like Aerosmith. So I went deep of these answers, and I go to try the real answer, the real thing. People, when they listen the same sound of the Les Paul and the Marshall without think about the notes and the music they made, they immediately recognize the sound of Led Zeppelin. Same off with Stratocaster, same off Telecaster. When you play the baritone, your brain is completely clear. Because you cannot connect any sound of the other. And some of the guitarists come in my workshop to try the baritone. They all immediately say, I cannot play baritone. I said, well, think about that. It's tuned in B. At the 5th fret, there is E. There are lots of guitars has 24 frets. And everybody can trying to going up until the second, the 24th fret. I made a guitar which you can go down and not up, because the guitar is from the 5th fret. Try to go lower than E with your guitar.
Yeah.
And they change completely the idea of the baritone. It's a normal guitar. It's not a baritone. I like to call this a different guitar. A guitar. It's a guitar because you play like a guitar. Put the capo at the 5th fret and it's a guitar. Matteo Mancuso loved the frequency of the sound down to the E and going down until B. And it's a big sound coming out. This is what everybody loves. And they try to do a groove with the baritone immediately because they're hearing the bass sound coming out. It's something everybody can play. It's something everybody can create something. It's not just a baritone. It's not good if I say that. Somebody else have to say that. It's a white book ready to write. That's it. What is the baritone?
Yeah, I agree. We've been talking about the idea that there needs to be a songbook developed because really creative people who can go somewhere that people haven't gone before, Matteo, Mark, we know who they were in the history. Eddie Van Halen, Steve Vai, Jimi Hendrix, people who went to new places. They find this incredibly freeing. But much of the world wants to be told what to do. And they want to paint within the lines. And they want to relive a moment. And they're playing music because they were inspired by the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, or because they heard Eddie Van Halen's Eruption, or Kurt Cobain Smells Like Teen Spirit, or whatever it is. And they spend, the reason that they love playing music is to relive this moment. And they can't relive that moment on the baritone. And so that's the people who say, I can't play this. They want to relive a moment and they don't know what to relive.
Yes, I agree.
Right? So until there's a body of work developed around the baritone that everybody says, oh, I know what baritone is, then we'll box it in. But honestly, I'm not too excited about this time when we box in the baritone. I'm mostly excited about the things we haven't heard yet, or the places, the food we haven't tried yet, the drink we haven't had. What
too much wine, man.
The next thing, no, it's not too much wine.
No, I'm joking.
There's too much bad wine, but there's never too much good wine. And that's I don't remember who said it. But life is too short for drinking bad wine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we want to have those good moments. And so, anyways, I think that whole artist thing is something that I wanted to explore with you that I've not really talked with many other people about, certainly not on our podcast, because I'm not the person who wants to relive the moments. So I don't typically want to talk about artists. I'm more interested in the effects that the artists have had.
Yeah, of course.
And the randomness, that sort of concept. That was the unexpectedness, but also to recognize that it's had an incredible impact on your business. Because then a Matteo Mancuso can say, I know who you are because I'm a fan of Mark Lettieri, because someone showed them already what can be done. And not that Matteo is copying Mark, but there's an awareness already, and you've been incredibly fortunate with that.
Yes, absolutely.
And you had to create a great musical instrument in order for that to happen, but the timing has also been really remarkable. And so for the people who listen to our podcast who are asking that question about artists, from my perspective, you can't just make it happen. You need to be available. You need to be curious. And if given the opportunity, you need to be able to say, oh yeah, try this, see where it takes you for sure, but you also have to be offering something that other people are not offering.
Yeah.
or else it's not interesting to them, right?
Yeah.
And that's the bit that is necessary to understand. And so, all right, we've talked way too much about guitars and not enough about food. Because I got to tell you,
Are you looking for a steak?
I don't know.
Just in
Bruno.
case.
I think we spend as much time talking about food as we do about guitars.
Oh, yes.
You and I, and we love to eat together. We love to try different things.
Of course.
I mean, I don't know how many different places I've been to with you just within drive of your home to have a cappuccino and a cornetto. You don't go to the same place every time.
No.
You take me to a different place every time. And I swear I have been to at least 6 different
Yes. Yeah.
places for pastries in your area.
Yeah, I have more, but you know.
Why do you know every place to eat in Tuscany? Maybe not all of Tuscany, but you know.
No. Well, this is quite far from here. The fact is that, you know, I love, it's the same thing, curiosity, you know.
Yeah.
Why go in one place? You are missing something much more good, much more bad, of course. It's both way. You don't know. I give you an example of my new butcher. When I get in the shop, the meat shop, the butcher,
Yes.
I asked for bread, not for meat. I said, would you like to try the best steak you can try in your life? And when people say to me that, I'm going crazy because, you know, who you are for say to... So, do you know who is in front of you?
Right.
Do you know if I have another options?
Yeah.
And I'm a person say, okay, give me one. I can try, but I don't pay you now. If you are right, I'm coming back and I pay the steak I taste and I become one of your client. And I did that. And he was right.
Yeah.
It was the best steak I ever tried before, you know? and I say, well, and we become friends. And
Yes.
you know, I love to taste everything. I love to feel the passion of the people making something, because you can feel, you can taste also. It's something in between taste and feel, which is making me very, very curious. Let me try this pastry and let me taste if the person making it love this job or not. And I'm going crazy when I find something unique.
Yeah.
The first time we went, do you remember when last week we went in Borgo Buggiano in the pasticceria, in the kind of train tables,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, their tables were across the street.
Yes,
in a covered
exactly.
area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They surprised me about the cream, but because the cream, remember me, the cream was making my grandmother, sorry,
Grandmother.
and the very natural taste of the food. And I'm going to find details of everything, and how much sugar they put on it. I think that I love to take attention of everything. Also, this glass and the chocolate is there, which I wish to eat as soon as possible. But you know,
Shall we just stop the interview and we can watch you eat a chocolate for 3 minutes?
no, I need just 20 seconds for it, not 3 minutes. So I love food, and you can trust me. You can see I'm not a skinny person, you know.
It's that the savoring of the moment, the recognizing that cream is special. Many people don't notice this actually, and I'm always surprised at people's indifference towards food, and how many people I know who just don't care about what they're eating. They eat it like you put the gasoline in the tank of the car, and it works with the gasoline. It doesn't work without, and they treat their food the same way.
Yeah.
And for me, this is I don't understand it, and I hope I never do. I don't want to understand this approach to food. But when when you find something special, and something that you touched on there that I found really beautiful, is that you can tell when someone is caring about their job. I don't remember exactly how you said it, but basically that you can tell when someone is caring about their food, when they care about it, when they're making the food, and you can taste it. You can know that they tried for this food, and they tried to make something special, and you get a chance to experience that. And there's a connectedness, there's an authenticity in that experience that I think we really crave in the modern world, because we have all of this knowledge. We can see pictures of amazing food and beautiful places and talented people, but we don't get to smell it on our computers, not yet. We don't get to taste it from our computers or our phones. And so there's a return to microbreweries, and I think more people started making their own bread during the pandemic.
Yes.
Everyone was making a sourdough pitcher and making, and I think that's great, because we're trying to connect again.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how we disconnect from it, but I was not raised in a culture of high quality food. I came to this later in life, because I came from a simple family in a culture that ate very processed, inexpensive food. And it was actually coming to Europe, and I remember the first time I had real Parmesan cheese, a proper Parmigiano Reggiano, was with Claudio and Claudia Pagelli in Switzerland, guitar makers. And I had an Amarone with it, and I remember the Amarone, and I remember the chips of Parmesan that we were having with it, while Claudia was making us something else for dinner that night. And I had actually never experienced Parmesan that didn't come out of a green shaker can like sawdust was in there, and you shake it up.
Yes.
You've seen this in horror movies, maybe?
No.
You've never... Yeah, so really, that's the only way I had experienced Parmesan cheese. And so much to the point where maybe 10 years later, after I had this revelation of cheese and of good wine, that it became a part of my life, a regular part of my life. And I remember taking my brother and his family into a store that had a real cheese section and buying them some Parmesan.
Really?
And they, for the first time in the parking lot of the grocery store,
Really?
were trying the Parmigiano Reggiano. And my brother looked at this little bit of cheese and said, "I can't believe you paid this much for this cheese." Because he was like, "Oh my God, you spent so much money on this little piece of cheese." And I don't think he really was appreciating it. And that's the way I grew up. And I think that people make the assumption, because I'm associated with very expensive musical instruments, that I come from a wealthy background and that's my experience. But that actually came to me with guitar. So through guitar is how I began to experience a different kind of food,
Oh, yes.
different quality. And I don't think it's coincidence. You know, these are one of the strings attached we talk about with this podcast. This life with strings attached is that I end up in environments and doing things because of guitar that I otherwise wouldn't have done. But the commonality is that the people who are making guitars want a quality of life.
Yeah.
And they want a tactile experience. They want to touch it. I mean, what happens every time you get two guitar makers with a wood stock? They're taking out the wood and
Yes.
they're smelling the wood.
Wow. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
You know?
of course. Of course.
And we're touching it, and we want to have that connectedness with the mind, the heart,
Yeah, and the soul.
the soul, the hands, all together.
Yeah.
And that is the main driving force, that quality of life behind pretty much every guitar maker that I know. And it's no different with you.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that these things actually matter, is because I have a more connected, deeper life, a more quality life, because of my connection to guitar. And when we travel around the world and we introduce people to guitars that matter, I don't mean that factory guitars don't matter, but what I mean is that when someone cared enough to create an individual idea,
Yeah.
right, and explored it and took the risks to
Yeah.
anger their family,
Yep.
and be ostracized. Not that everyone had to do that necessarily, but when they care enough that they have to pay the price for what they care about, they make the choices. This is what it's all about.
Yes, absolutely.
And my life is better for knowing you. And I really
Thank
mean
you.
that. I've really loved our time here in Tuscany together. And this is not my first time. It's not going to be my last time either. Encore, I'll be back.
Yes.
But thank you for hosting us here, Bruno, and for sharing your culture and your community and your wonderful friends and colleagues here.
You're
Is there
welcome.
something that if I were a better interviewer that I would have known to ask you that I didn't ask you?
I don't know, but
or something you want to talk about that I didn't bring up?
I would like to say that every time we can meet, our friendship is growing up, and we knows each other much better than before. But this is not always happen. As I can say, I know Jamie Gale, and we can chat about. I know you like Rama, and we talk about that. But we changing the way of the friendship we have all the time, and this makes me curious to when you come in next. About I will say something about, if I can, about my relation with the food and the guitars. I'm always say making a good guitar, it's like to make a good tomato pasta. It's 5 ingredients, pasta, water, tomatoes, garlic, and another ingredient I don't want to say. It's a secret, but I'm joking.
Salt.
So, how to make a beautiful and very nice guitar or tomato pasta? First, you have to choose the right ingredients, the quality, but you have to know how to check the quality. And then is the process to make the tomato pasta change the taste of the final result. Make a fantastic tomato pasta, and make a sheet tomato pasta is one of the most easiest thing to do. It's the same, make a guitar doesn't mean make a nice sound. I love the sound. My guitar's born from the sound. And then I put everything in together for create that sound. I don't think rosewood has this sound, maple has this sound, and if a giant together is coming out this sound, it's the wrong way for me. In my mind there is a sound where I don't know where it's coming out, and for making this sound, I'm going to find my knowledge of the wood, and this is like the cherry tomatoes in the summertime, not in the wintertime. From a region, not from everywhere. When it's red or when it's a little bit less red, there's a lot of things happening. And I love to track these details, these small things, to make instruments and to make food. So, that's it. Cheers, Jamie.
So, can we order your tomato pasta online at bacciguitarists.com?
Only on customized orders.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking about the pasta, not the custom orders.
Thank you, Bruno.
Thank you for inviting me in the string attached.
Life with strings attached.
Life with string attached.
Yeah.
If I think about that, I'm thinking about spaghetti instead of the strings, you know? And 6 spaghetti means also 6 strings guitars.
Yes. Okay, so what's for dinner?
Thank you for watching and listening. You can find more episodes wherever you listen to your podcasts, and a special thanks to those who support us on Patreon. It's your support that enables us to do this work.